Hey everyone, my name is Elliot, and I managed to become the richest person in our state in just one day.
No, you shut the fuck up, you lying cunt. Okay, I looked it up. You are not the richest man in Tennessee, you dumb cunt.
Although I had to make a bet for this, and its conditions turned out to be much more difficult than I expected. I'll start with a story about my life. I live with my mom in Franklin, Tennessee. We have to work hard to feed ourselves. Dad left the family more than 5 years ago, and mom has to work 2 jobs. I don't mess around either, and after school, I work part-time at a gas station for trucks.
Bro, I hate how these animated story channels give you so much fucking exposition. Like, nobody cares. Just tell me how you became the richest man in Franklin, Tennessee now, so I can become rich too. You know I want to ball I want to ball off the rim. Give me the cash, bro. Give me the secrets. Why are you hiding it from me? Tell me
Due
now.
to such a schedule and constant poverty, I did not have any close friends.
Nigga, you gotta be ashamed of yourself, nigga. Real talk. You gotta be ashamed of yourself. Old as you is.
Bro, imagine being so poor that you don't have any friends. Like, that's so tough. Like, how are you gonna be so broke, so down bad, living in a ditch to the point where you don't have any friends? Like, bro, that's tough. You're poor, poor. You're poor. You are poor. You live in a box, floating down the river.
However, my life got a little better when I discovered online games. From that moment on, I started to log into the game after work and talk to the guys all over the country every evening. Once, I met Shannon there, who also lived in Tennessee. It was thanks to him that I was able to become rich. After some time, I learned that Shannon was the son of the richest man in the state. He had everything any teenager could wish for, but despite this, he was unhappy with his life as well. Shannon had a very strict upbringing, but he saw his parents very rarely due to their frequent business trips. Also, Shannon couldn't devote himself to his favorite hobby, graphic design, which he's dreamed about from an early age. Instead, he often had to help Dad with his business matters. The fact was that his father tried to teach his son all the chores of business. He entrusted him with making the small deals, and Shannon had to sort out all the papers and make the decisions independently whether to sign a contract or not.
Top 10 things that Shannon has that our protagonist doesn't. Number 1, money. Number 2, MacBook. Number 3, nice house. Number 4, friends. Number 5, expensive things. Number 6, a dad.
To be honest, I was very jealous of listening about Shannon's life. He studied at home, traveled frequently, and could afford everything he wanted. After this conversation, I was obsessed with the idea of getting rich and steeped into dreams of living without limits. The latter played a cruel trick on me. Once, imagining my mother and me on a yacht in the middle of the azure ocean, I forgot to open the petrol pump and started refueling the truck. When I realized that fuel was not pouring into the tank, it was already too late. The pressure in the pump increased so much that the hose burst and all the gasoline spilled on the ground. Everything around the gas station was flooded with fuel, and it had to be cordoned to avoid an explosion. For such a fatal mistake, I was fired instantly.
We do not care.
It's like they try to make us feel bad for him getting fired, but like, yo, that was your fault. You should have been paying more attention. Like, bro, why were you dozing off during the job? Like, bro, you gotta get paid. And you out here putting your family at risk because you're an idiot. Like, bro, if you don't just go to work, pay attention, and get paid, like, bro, you can't be out here goofing. Because if you play goofy, you're going to end up dead or you're going to end up poor like you already are. And maybe if you get, you know what, play basketball. All dadless people play basketball and they make money. Just go to the league, bro, and your dad will come back on draft day. Trust me, bro. He'll be right back on draft day, bro.
And our family fell on hard times. Since I had no close friends, I shared my feelings with Shannon. I told him that my living was really unbearable. Suddenly, Shannon began to argue with me, saying that the life of rich people is fraught with even more difficulties. According to him, expulsion from a gas station was a small thing compared to the loss of at least one small contract. Shannon decided to prove it and invited me to live his life for a few days. The conditions were simple. I had to remain in his family's mansion without leaving it so that no one would notice me. I could also earn money on behalf of Shannon on the internet special websites and take it for myself. The conditions of this offer were quite tempting, and I agreed. Having told my mother that I was leaving for a part-time job, I went to Shannon's house. That's how I became the richest man in the state. Though, not for long.
You lying, manipulative cunt. How dare you say that? How dare you name this video, I'm the richest man in my state, when you weren't even the richest man in your state. You just pretended. You literally got to pretend to be the son of the richest man. No, he's not even the richest man in the state. His dad is the richest man in the state. So what are you talking about? This clickbait bull. Oh my god, it's like it's stupid. At least come up with a good title. I get to be the richest man in the state for a couple of days or something. You don't have to lie. I still would have dropped a video on you if it was called I was richest man in the state temporarily, you idiots.
First day flew by imperceptibly because I was enjoying the wealthy life. Having earned $5,000 that day, I was swooning with joy. I spent all the money on all sorts of gadgets from the online store. But then, later at night, I was ashamed of such recklessness and promised myself that for the next 2 days, I would save money for the needs of my family. On the second day, I decided to find out more about Shannon's life. I logged into his account on social media, and to my horror, I saw that he had no friends. Instead, there was only correspondence with business partners and endless angry messages from other teens. As it turned out, the world of the elite youth was very cruel. The teens of this world had a real war for status which was beyond my understanding. I was going to log out when suddenly I got a message from some angry guy. He was really mad because a very important client had been poached by Shannon's father. Thereby, it affected his family business badly. The guy threatened to pulverize Shannon if he didn't answer. Unfortunately, I could not write anything to him because, according to the terms of our bet, I could not reply to private messages. I became very scared because I did not know what important people are capable of. Then I hastened to contact Shannon and tell him about the threat. But instead of being stricken with panic, he explained calmly that he has often heard such threats towards himself and his father and hasn't paid attention to them. Then he asked me for a favor. I had to close the transaction on behalf of Shannon. In that case, his father would make sure that his son was working and not messing around. At that, I could take the commission from this transaction for myself.
So let me guess, he somehow fucks it up and he ruins Shannon's whole life. His parents go into a deep bankruptcy. They slowly become more depressed. Then, slowly, little by little, the dad starts becoming a drunk, then becomes abusive. Then the mom leaves. Then the dad starts beating Shannon. Then Shannon becomes a drunk, drug addict. Then he kills himself and his dad dies in a car accident. Let me guess, that's how this ends, right?
The task was simple, but I did not know then how this was going to work. At the appointed time, I logged into the email and contacted the client. Without further ado, I did everything according to Shannon's instructions and the transaction was closed. I was very excited about this because the sum of the commission could provide me with a possibility to pay for my mother's vacation and please her with gifts. However, in the late afternoon, I received an unexpected message. The client, with whom the transaction was closed, wrote to me that he would terminate the contract if he did not clarify some details. It turned out that he was informed that the business of Shannon's father had troubles. Therefore, this contract could result in a multi-million-dollar loss for his own business. He also added that if the message is ignored, then I would have great problems. I was completely shocked and didn't know what to do. This message was followed by a new message from a guy who had previously threatened me. He was gloating because of the revenge he had committed. Apparently, he told something about Shannon's father's business to that client. I was really nervous and tried to call my friend, but he did not answer. It's been hours, but Shannon has not called me back. The client, who wanted to terminate the contract, began to send threats. He wrote that he was very disappointed and that if he is disobeyed, he would drag the company's reputation through the dirt. The future of the largest company in Tennessee was in my hands, and I had no idea what to do. I did not sleep late into the night and tried to contact Shannon, but all attempts were in vain.
Man, I predicted this, bro. Shannon's dead. He killed himself. I knew it. I knew this was going to happen. He's mad because his daddy won't give him any more money. How much you guys want to bet? I'll bet on it. I mean, this is a pretty weird episode of our favorite web series, Weird Shit on the Internet. But I think that Shannon is probably dead somewhere. Probably gave up on life. He probably just wanted to do this bet so you take over his life for him so he could go get drunk with his boys.
Of course, I could call his father and tell everything to him, but then it would get both of us into greater trouble. After midnight, a suspicious black car drove up to the house, and strange people in suits came out. They began to knock on the door and look in windows, which almost made my heart stop. A minute later, I heard pistol shots. I was so scared that I crawled under the bed and cried. I was not ready to be so sorely tested, and exhausting, monotonous work at a gas station didn't seem like a living hell to me any longer. Big money makes big problems, and I understood that perfectly. Unable to withstand the fear, I called Shannon's father and introduced myself as a friend of his son. I told him everything about the transaction, but kept silent about Shannon, who had left home somewhere for a few days. The conversation lasted only a minute, and then he dropped the call. I was scared that he didn't care either about his son's affairs or me, but I was wrong. Just an hour later, an angry client sent a message of apology and said that the transaction would still be closed. Shannon arrived in the morning. He said that he was very sorry, but I would have to leave quickly since his father was already flying home. I did not understand what happened at night and demanded at least some explanation from Shannon. Then he admitted that it was a prank. He wanted to show me in such a way what terrible situations sometimes happen to rich people and how lucky I was to be born in an ordinary family. He did not even apologize to me, believing that he did the right thing.
Bro, Shannon is fucked for that one. Like, yo, what did that achieve? Because, like, his life is still harder. I mean, just because he almost got killed doesn't mean that his life isn't harder. Every day he has the opportunity to die of starvation. He lives in poverty. He could probably get robbed. Break-ins. He works at a gas station. They might rob the gas station. You never know. He probably goes to like a low-end school. That might get shot up. His life is still harder than yours. So by you doing this prank, you have not proved anything. You've just shown that rich people have an easier life because he was so easily able to get away with pranking you to screw you and to put you in a terrible situation. It just makes rich people look even worse. So I don't even know what you achieved.
I was so angry with him for this idiotic joke that I told Shannon to saw it off and stopped our communication at all. A little later, his father contacted me and apologized for his son's behavior. He offered me a large financial compensation for this incident, but I refused since I no longer needed anything from his family. Would you continue the communication with a person after such a prank? Write your answers in the comments, leave a like on the video, and share it with your friends.
Shut the fuck up, bitch.